Man, smells like some funky money is going on over there in LA County. And I mean real funky. So look, I've been doing some research and let me tell you, people out here taking money. Allegedly. What's going on YouTube? It's your host Bruce GNT, and we're here to talk about money for the homeless that is apparently not finding its way to the homeless. So this is something I kind of came across in my feed, and then I started doing a deep dive and I started finding other content creators and other news sources showing that the money that's being used in LA County or being fundraised or built up or taken from the taxpayer is not going to where it's supposed to go. People are still homeless, and when it comes to the impact that they're having, these organizations and or this money that's being taken from the taxpayer, I'm gonna keep pointing that out. You'll see why. It's not really helping many people. Many cases, they're not helping anyone when it comes to them getting off the street. So let me not waste any time. Let's jump right in.
Stunning new reporting from LAist. A review of federal government records suggests that a prominent homeless service provider, the Weingart Center, has been awarded over $100 million in taxpayer funds despite years of failing to comply with federal audit mandates.
That reporting from award-winning Watchdog correspondent Nick Gerda, who joins us to break down his findings. Nick, good to have you with us. As an accountability reporter at LAist, you've covered many stories of mismanagement and questionable funding in the past. Explain what's going on here with the Weingart Center.
Yeah, so we at LAist, we're digging into money flows around homelessness in the LA area as we're trying to understand what's happening. And I've been looking into a controversial property flip involving Weingart Center, which we can get into in a moment. And as I was looking into that, I discovered that this organization, nonprofit group, Weingart Center, had been receiving year after year tens of millions, over $100 million in taxpayer funds while they have been failing to follow one of the most essential requirements for organizations to receive government funding. That's in federal law. They're required to do it. And they have been, what we found as we went through and pulled through the records and pieced things together, is that they have been out of compliance continuously since early 2022 and have received huge amounts of taxpayer funds. And when some of these audits have come back, long overdue, sometimes a year and a half overdue, they've been finding very serious problems with how Weingart Center is tracking taxpayer funds, including lacking enough experience and size to its accounting team to track those dollars, and failing to include tens of millions of dollars in federal funding on their balance sheet that was provided to the auditors. So been a lot of concern as after we've run this story, and a lot of questions about how this is happening and why there does not appear to be more stringent oversight from the government agencies to be keeping an eye on what's happening with these audits and lack thereof.
All right.
Let me just say this. The biggest grift in California that's been going on for years at this point is a homelessness epidemic. They are making money off the fact that they're trying to help the homeless and needy, and they're doing it right in front of your faces. Because this isn't the first time I heard something like this. I heard Karen Bass had to go into court because they were pretty much investigating, figuring out, okay, this much money has been taken from the taxpayer, right? Millions, and yet people are still on Skid Row. There's someone, I think they refer to him as the mayor of Skid Row, because I think he was talking to Karen Bass as well outside the courtroom. And he was basically saying, when he was talking to the press, yeah, no, there hasn't been any change. Actually, it's gotten worse. So I stand by that. I'm not saying that anyone's taking money, but what I am saying is that this is a big grift in California. This is a big grift, because how is it all this money is being raised, millions upon millions of dollars, and there's nothing to show for it? It's still just as bad, if not worse.
Well, let's dive a little bit deeper into that then. LAHSA does have contract requirements from vendors, including compliance with the single audit. So why did the Weingart Center get these funds, and what does that say about LAHSA's oversight abilities, which have already been under scrutiny, as we know?
Yeah, it's a great question. So LAHSA, as you mentioned, it's an organization. This is this joint city-county agency that oversees over $800 million in homelessness funds each year in the LA city and county area. And they've had a number of reviews that have found problems with oversight there and how they're overseeing the dollars. And this is something, this new audit issue is one that we've stumbled across as well. The new CEO of LAHSA, who started in August, told us she was disappointed.
Look at that. That's insane. That's insane. I've said it before in a previous video. I haven't been to California like that. I went to 29 Palms. That's about it. But I've been to places where the homelessness is bad. New York, DC, parts of Atlanta. I've seen it. But this, I've never seen it like that. Never. And I guarantee you this is nothing compared to actually being there and seeing it for yourself. And like I said, millions of dollars is going to this, and yet where are the results? What's happening here? So I just recently did a video talking about, California being a budget deficit of $18 billion, right? And Gavin Newsom was pretty much advocating for the closing of state prisons. Not all, just certain ones, and they're going to decide which ones if this goes through, right? And he basically brought up saying how California has failed, even though he's been in charge of California for the past 6-7 years, right? This is one of the failures, because where is the government? Where is the oversight? How is that this is going on consistently in a state that touts being so successful, and yet there's no eyes on this? Where is the money going? Now, when I say funky money, I mean it.
After we contacted her, she was disappointed to learn that LASA had not caught this issue. But again, this is one of many challenges that we've run that the public and auditors have run into with LASA's oversight. I'll add that the state of California has allocated tens of millions to Weingart Center as well during this time frame that they've been out of compliance with the audit requirements. And the state housing agency told us they were relying on the state controller's office to review audits, but when we asked the state controller's office, they say they don't review audits from nonprofits at all. So there's a real seems to be some incorrect information coming out of the state about their process for checking this. And when I look at federal law, there is a requirement in federal law that these pass-through agencies like LASA and the state are supposed to be checking for compliance with these audits as they're awarding funds. So there's a lot of questions here about how this has happened. That since our reporting, LASA has, they've cracked down in a sense on Weingart Center and said that they really need to see this audit. The latest one that's overdue still has not been turned in as of today. It's long overdue, and we're continuing to ask questions about what's going on.
Wow. So it's not just these audits. Nick, as you mentioned, he touched on it a moment ago, Weingart Center also at the heart of a controversial property purchase that is under federal investigation. What's happening there?
That's right. This is a property flip in West LA in the neighborhood of Cheviot Hills that was highlighted in a federal prosecutor criminal indictment announcement actually in October. And essentially what happened was there was this investor, Stephen Taylor, who purchased a property. It was a senior home, multi-unit senior home, about 76 units in West LA, purchased it for $11 million. But while he was at the same time selling it to Weingart Center for $27 million, financed by taxpayers. And so there's a apparent $16 million gap here between what he bought it for and what he sold it for, right around the same time. And a lot of questions about what happened there. We took a deep dive into thousands of pages of government records about these approvals for this property transaction, and found that the appraisal used to justify the price had inaccurate information. It did not mention the pending sale for $11 million when it was justifying a value of $27. There was inaccurate information about the ownership of the property, and some questions as well about how they arrived at the dollar amounts in that appraisal. And again, we also found that Mayor Bass's office, there was some emails from the city indicating that her office was had a big role in the selection of this property.
You heard the last part he said. Karen Bass's office, the mayor of LA, had a big role in the acquisition of this property. If this is not some crooked shit, I don't know what it is, because it's in your face at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's in your face. Let me tell you something. Allegedly, this shit goes to the top. You think the people in charge of California, the governor, the mayors, and everything like that, city council, you think they don't know what's going on? I get it. You think, right? You think that no one knows what's happening. You think that everyone's just like, oh my God, this is just oversight. I had no... That's what you think. They know this shit's going on, and it's been going on for years at this point. This didn't start with Gavin Newsom. I'll give him some credit. This did not start with him. And it's probably not going to end with him or the mayors underneath him. It's not. It's not. Certain states have facilitated certain ways to grift and or make money off the backs of the taxpayers, and this is California's grift right here.
So and I'll add as well that the agreement for taxpayer funds to finance the $27 million purchase of this property committed that the buyer, Weingart Center, would never reveal the name of the seller of the property to the public or to the news media, which is something I've never seen in a taxpayer-funded local government, contract before. That kind of secrecy.
Nick, thank you so much for your time tonight. Always good to see you. Great reporting. LA.
All those people are corrupt. They all corrupt. from the bottom to the top. They all corrupt because they all know what's going on. Karen Bass, I've talked about her before. All right, I got smoke for her. Same thing for my boy Gavin Newsom, Mr. Pretty Boy. Yeah, they all into this shit. They all know what's going on. How is it that millions of dollars is just disappearing and is not helping the people it's intended for? That lights be real? I haven't talked about that. Millions of dollars. Where the real at? Where is it at? This is what I talk about when I say people need to hold their politicians accountable, because this shit right here is crazy work. Crazy work. They took taxpayer money and said, you know what? We're going to make it so that you don't know who sold it to us. I'm a big proponent for taxpayers knowing exactly where their money goes. That shit right there, foul. Corrupt, crooked, funky ass money. And if people are not opening their eyes to see this and seeing that it's not just like a sudden thing, it's not just, oh, it was a few people here and there. No. It's the whole goddamn government over there. For California in this case, because trust me, other cities, other states, they got their own shit. Trust me. And we're going to uncover that. Stick around for the ride. But yeah, this shit stinks to high hell. Well, you guys already know the drill. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment down below, tell me your thoughts. How far do you think this goes? How deep do you think this goes? Also, when it comes to... Also, where do you think the money is going? Who do you think is fattening their pockets? This is all alleged, by the way. I'm not saying that anyone's doing this. I'm just saying that it sounds like it. And I'm not going to say any names, but you know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying. But that's it for now. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.